Alright, hello folks. I haven't made a video for a couple weeks and I've gotten a ton of new loot, so it's time to make a new one. I'm going to start this one off a little different and show you my setup and whatnot. After playing this spec for a bit, I kind of dubbed it Machine Gun Meteor because that's what it does. First, let's see here. Meteor, Star Pack, cheap one. This basically makes it so you can chain cast it because you can get enough arcane power back to refund the cost as long as there's, 2 mobs or so. I haven't quite been able to get enough arcane power back to chain cast it on a single mob. So for single mobs, I got Prodigy here. And basically, it's usually like Magic Missile, Meteor, Magic Missile, Meteor, and you alternate. That just gets you a little bit extra to keep you going. Meteor tends to fail a bit when mobs are moving around a lot, like Blood Clan occultists and quill beasts and I don't know, gargoyles and stuff that spreads out and moves around a lot. So for the primary, or for the left click here, I got Seeker Missile because it tracks. It's also really good against treasure goblins. I thought about using Charged Blast, more damage, but because the Seeker hits more often, I think you get a bit more back out of the Prodigy. I don't know. Attunement's an option too, and then you can get even more back. But again, just because you're generally using it for things that move around, I stuck with Seeker. Teleport Fracture's great. Blink is awesome for getting you out of walls and other, frost bomb hallways and crap like that. And the Fracture is just because the mirrors will buy you some good time. I still have trouble with like Phase Beasts, like crazy champ packs of Phase Beasts. The mirrors help you buy time. Using Arcane Hydra, I thought about changing this too, but it's good for cleaning up, like, if there's just like a couple skeletons left over or something, it kind of sucks blowing meteors on them, so the Hydra kind of cleans up the extras. It's some quick burst AoE. I'm using Arcane now because I got Temporal Flux. I thought about changing this too. I don't know how necessary this is, but it's what I've been using, so. Blood Magic on Magic Weapon is awesome. You get like crazy amounts of healing when you're AoEing stuff. So you get the life on hit for single targets, and then you got the life steal for big nasty AoEs. And I've seen some crazy heals between those two and the regen, like 3-4k ticks and stuff. It's pretty awesome. And of course, Prismatic Armor, I think this is a no-brainer. I mean, I guess there's Pinpoint and stuff, but my resists are pretty good, so getting 40% extra makes me pretty hardy. I like being hardy. And so Prodigy, like I said, just to keep you going on single targets. Temporal Flux, this is mostly good for trash. I think some other options for these would be Illusionist. I thought about using that. That could be as good as Temporal Flux. Although the problem with Illusionist is once you get tougher and your life is higher, it's harder for things to proc it. Like 15% is, 4.5k or 5k or something like that. And there's not really a whole lot of things in the game that'll hit me for that. For example, if I'm up against like a champ pack of Soul Rippers that are, say, lightning enchanted, they're not going to hit me for 5k. They're just going to zerg me and wear me out with all these little hits, like a ton of little hits, and then this isn't going to help me really at all. So, I don't know. It'd be good against the hard hitters, Skull Cleavers, Phase Beasts, stuff like that. Galvanizing Ward's a good option too. Regen is great. I love regen. A good way to think about this is if you use a potion on cooldown that's approximately 400 life per second. So this is basically like having a second potion going for you, which is pretty nice. Arcane Dynamo doesn't work for this. You'd want to do some different stuff. I like that talent, but nah, it's no good for this particular setup at all. And I don't like Glass Cannon because it reduces your defenses, and that sucks. You end up taking a lot of hits as the spec. Like, you end up tanking 1 or 2 mobs pretty regularly, so Blur's an option. That's a good one. Power Hungry seems too inconsistent, so I don't bother much with that. And Critical Mass, I mean, I only have 1 cooldown, so it seems pointless for this too. Like, I would just reset Teleport. I don't know. I guess it'd be alright, kind of like Illusionist, but eh. So, that's my setup. Let's check out my gear. I've gotten a ton of upgrades since the last video, like a ton. I've been getting mad lucky. I'm not using the real money auction house or anything. I don't have the money to afford that shit anyway. So, helmet. The end and vid is terribly low on this fucker, but it's got good resists. The max arcane power actually ends up being really good. I'll explain that later, but the max arcane power is great. Crit chance, obviously you need that, and crit hits get 10 arcane power good. And the golden health pickup, man, I hate playing without that. So I'm really reluctant to change the helmet because of the max arcane power and golden health pickup. It's hard to find a helmet with all those things on it that has higher int and vit. Pretty expensive, and yeah, it's not a bad helmet. Here, this neck, crit chance, life on hit, decent other stats. The plus 30 to 60 damage is pretty good with this because you have an insanely fast attack speed, so that actually ends up working out to a fair amount of damage, I think. But the life on hit and the crit chance are the real big things here. No defense on that, unfortunately. I think it's one of my only pieces with no defense. Well, life on hit's defense, but it's no resistor armor. Vile Ward is awesome. Like crazy high int compared to other shoulders. Resists armor and a ton of regen. You can get better Vile Wards. I think these cost me like 20 or 30 million or something like that. They're pretty good. Poison resist kind of sucks, but eh. These gloves I got a long time ago. I've had them forever. Obviously, attack speed, crit damage, crit chance, and int-vid armor is fucking great, and it completes the set for my boots, so I get the extra bonuses there too. Pretty good. Just picked up this chest. I feel like the chest is the best place to get your life regen because it gets really high, as you'll see. 500 life regen on a single piece is awesome, so that's really what I look for. And I just grabbed this. It's basically the same as my old chest, but it also has 3 sockets, so I just gained 150 int. It's pretty awesome. Good chest. I've had these bracers forever. There are upgrades available, but you gain such little stats for really expensive. Like, it costs a lot just to gain little bits, so whatever. It's int vit, a bunch of resist, a little bit of regen, and the crit chance is really what you need on there. Had this belt forever too. Ton of int for a belt. That's just my cat, ignore him. A ton of int for a belt, bit of vit, ton of resist. 300 regen for a belt's really good. Not too thrilled about thorns or poison resistance, but hey, whatever. This ring is awesome. Int vit. Int's kind of low, but that's okay. The 20 minimum damage is awesome because, again, like I said, my attack speed is really, really high. Resist all and armor. I love my defensive stats. And attack speed and crit damage, of course, is awesome. I've attack speed on pretty much every piece I can except the neck. Pants, these ones are pretty much defensive. They have a decent amount of int, little vit, and ton of resists and armor. I haven't really been able to find pants with good defenses like that. I've been wearing these for a long time. Picked up this ring yesterday. Arcane resist kind of sucks. I wish it had vit or resist, but it's a ton of int. It's got the attack speed, life on hit, great. Comes with armor. Skullgrass comes with armor. And then the important part, bam, Meteor cost reduced by 4. That is great for this build. Yeah, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later too. Just bought this wand. I'm not so sure this is the best weapon in the world. The DPS is a little bit low. Mainly I bought it because it seemed like it'd be fun as hell to have that super, super fast attack speed. I really like it. I was playing back before they nerfed attack speed, and I was just massing attack speed, and I liked really just, having like the 2.0 attacks per second and just whipping shit at people. So I was like, well, this will bring me back to those days. Really fast attack speed is fun as hell, and obviously the arcane power on crit is awesome, and you need a socket on your weapon, and it's not bad. One day I might get that set bonus, which seems pretty good. Reduced damage from elites by 7% seems pretty significant, but a good offhand for this set costs like, a couple $100 million, so that's a little far away at this point. These boots I've been wearing forever. You match the gloves, mainly defensive. Resist all, armor, regen. You got to have movement speed on there. Int is pretty low. Back last patch, I probably could have got one with more int, but now these are getting rare because the new ones are kind of nerfed a bit. They don't come, I forget what they're called, but there's a new Sage's Wisdom set, and the boots that you can craft now don't come default with movement speed, so they're a lot more rare and expensive. So I don't know. I also don't know if the sets would mix and match. Like, if I buy the boots from the new set, will they still match my gloves? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Mostly defense on there. This was given to me by a friend who apparently is the nicest fucking guy in the world, because this is the sickest offhand. Ton of elemental damage, high damage, int. The max arcane power again is good. I'll explain that in just 1 second. High crit and crit damage, or crit grants arcane power. So I got 30 arcane power on crit, and Meteor costs 31 with my reduction. So, of course, you don't get the full amount when you cast a Meteor, but you know, combined with the regen, usually you can put out a freaking good number of Meteors. Anyway, the reason the max arcane power is good, and you'll see I'm using Astral Presence. Of course, you want as much arcane power as you can get. That's basically what I'm looking for, right? But the other good thing about this is that it increases your max arcane power to compensate for the loss from the armor, right? So I got 144 arcane power. Excuse me, 124 arcane power with the armor up. And as of getting this ring that reduces the cost of meteors, you'll see I can do 4 without having to stop, right? And usually just about the time after you're casting the 4th one, the first one hits, and you should be starting to get some arcane power back. I think you got time for 1 magic missile in there before you start going again. So that gives you like more power to get things rolling on the opener. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, if we want to look at stats, I got a whole bunch of deeps. Fucking, this is from the magic weapon. Attacks per second 1.9, so super fast attacks per second. 36 crit, 183 crit damage. That could be higher. I used to have a crit damage neck and a life on hit weapon, but then when I switched to this one, I wanted the life on hit back, so I went with this guy. More crits is good anyways, because then you can keep up the chain casting meteors. 900 some odd resist, 7k armor, 28k life, ton of regen. Love my regen. Of course, a little bit of that is from the Templar, but not too much. 500 life on hit. Gold pickup. Woo! Yeah, I even actually got my Templar spec to give me a little more arcane power. That's what that 0.5 is. I don't know really how useful that is, but I was screwing around with that. And that's about it. So I'm going to join a pub game, and this is really better with multiplayer. Like, if you can get a tank to fucking hold some shit still for you, it works a lot better. You can solo. It's not too bad. But the way the damage type works is hard to clean up leftovers. I shouldn't say hard, but it's a little slow and tedious to clean up leftovers. You're better against hitting the really big clustered guys and letting your allies clean up the leftovers. Like demon hunters and stuff with their hungering arrow, they're pretty good at that. But anyway, let's do some breach keep here, and we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's not just a bunch of glass cannons. Oh fuck, look. Hopefully that witch doctor's got pet, and they're already on keep level 2. So, we'll see how this goes. Oh, I forgot something. Son bitch. Son bitch. Got skeletons all over the place.
I don't have enough arcane power.
Banelings are not good. And by banelings I mean fallen maniacs. If you know, played StarCraft, you know what I'm talking about. As far as I'm concerned, they're banelings. There's something I forgot to explain. So this has to do with this elemental damage on this weapon. That elemental damage only applies to physical damage. So you'll see my wand does fire. There's like a little bug right now that you can use where you start with nothing and then you throw on your blue weapon that does physical damage, and then it calculates the elemental damage bonus and it sticks. So you'll see I had like 68k before or something, now at 74k. I don't know. I'm sure they'll fix this bug eventually. It's not a huge deal. What I'm kind of hoping they do is make the elemental damage apply to the fire damage of my weapon. I don't see why they'd want you to be forced to go for a physical damage weapon. That seems pretty stilly, but I don't know, whatever. So 74, 75-ish KDPS, it's pretty good. And we're going to start spamming some meteors and go kill Dom. And hopefully we get some good setups, and I'll show you this infinite meteor.
I don't have enough arcane power.
Oh god, and I don't bother picking up blues because going back down to sell every floor of every dungeon gets pretty tedious, so I tend to pick the yellows. Teleport's also great for getting you away from those banelings, man. I think my #1 cause of death is those stupid fallen maniacs. Alright, who's in charge of this shindig? Where are we going? I got no map layout here. Just just gonna follow Gargantuan guy here.
Need more arcane power.
See, and these are the mobs I'm talking about where they run around a bit and it's a little harder to hit your meteor on them, so you got Seeker Missile. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but better than a kick in the ass, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, I don't have a clue where these guys have been already. Somebody lead, come on, show me where we're going. I'll just follow Gargantuan guy here. Mass Pets is good.
I don't have
And
enough
see, like, it's a
arcane
little bit
power.
overkill. This is another reason I play pub games, man. Like, because if I'm soloing, it's like one meteor to kill those guys, or 2 meteors. I don't know. It just doesn't seem super efficient. Plus, I get bored of soloing and like pub games. You get some real idiots. It's funny. And I met a lot of people. Like I said, that guy who gave me that offhand, I just met him in a pub game somewhere. So, it's paying off for me. I really wish you could dye legendaries, because I really don't like having shoulders on my wizard. I wish I could make those things visible. Ah wells, what you gonna do? Seeker's also good for maniacs, so you can just fire randomly down hallways when you can't see them, and you'll seek them out and kill them. It's good stuff. And it's fun as shit, man. Like, if you're doing like curveballs around doorways and stuff, if there's a mob in through here. Where are we going here? Buddy seems to be going the other way. I think the Chinese witch doctor doesn't know what's going on because he's following me. It's no good. Maybe he just got here too. So let's see who's this guy. Peace. That's the demon hunter. Maybe he knows what's going on. Oh, sweet, we got this.
I don't have enough arcane power.
These tornado wizards. I work really well with them, or I should say the meteor spec works really well with them because they just hold stuff still or, you know, wreck it. And, you know, my favorite place to level ever since this game started, I was always like, this keep is the best. It kind of reminds me of Diablo 1, lots of doorways and shit, like Diablo 1 catacombs, kind of like this. So, the spec works really well in here. This is probably the best place for it. I'm not sure how well... I should say not sure. I've done it a couple times, but I don't think this is really the best spec for Act 4. I could be wrong about that. I don't do a lot of Act 4. That's too irritating and short. So, here we go. Let's drop some meteors. I'm just holding down right click. Where those meteors go? Oh, run out of juice. Run out of juice. Oh, mobs are dead. And see, here's where the Prodigy kicks in. You gotta kind of alternate a bit, keep a good close eye on your arcane power, because it spikes a hell of a lot. You crit one of these arcane missiles and gain 30 AP, well 34 including the Prodigy, plus whatever regen you're getting, and your pool goes up and down pretty damn fast. Well, now we're dead-ended again. I'm assuming that this is the right way to go. Oh, would he pop that? Ah, there he is. Door's closed, so... Looks like we'll be heading into keep level 3. Look at that. Look at that shit. It's awesome. So many meteors. See, this is the thing too. This game's starting to get pretty easy. So I wasn't really too set on being like the most powerful, bestest OP build. You know, like whatever, it's Diablo, you're gonna kill shit. I'll just wait for my buddies. You're gonna kill shit. What I was looking for is just something super fun. And I think casting meteors at like light speed is pretty awesome. Oh, Illusionist, this is the best. And you'll see, like, these guys' bow shots are nothing with all the lifesteal and regen and shit I got. Nothing at all.
I don't have enough arcane power.
I can pretty much just stand here. As long as I'm not in their special attacks, I'm usually pretty set. I do sometimes forget to put on my Hydras, but for boss, I don't know how much of a difference they make. They're alright. Meteor is definitely the biggest chunk of the damage. Yeah, and that's it. Some Archon armor. Sweet deal. Probably should have set myself on D&D, but oh well. Now these guys hit me for about 10k. See, this is another one where the proc illusionist. But to be honest, the demonic tremors, since they've been nerfed this patch, they're not really the big problem. My big problem is mobs that just zerg the shit out of you, like phase beasts are probably the worst. Certain packs of phase beasts I can't kill without dying. Yeah, it's too hard with the spec. I used to be able to solo really well with Blizzard Venom Hydra with the illusionist, but your DPS is pretty low as that spec. Even if it reads high on the character sheet, it's not really like a high DPS spec by any means. You just sort of wear things out. So I was getting tired of that. Wanted something a little more, you know, offensive. And the other thing about Blizzard Hydra is you get pretty much no benefit from arcane power on crit or life on hit. So Blizzard's got such a bad coefficient for those. And that seemed boring. I was like, well, I'm not using these stats. They're pretty cool stats. It can be fun. So I want to change the spec.
More arcane power.
Meteor has some good coefficients. It's just expensive, so you make up the expensive fact with all this stuff that brings it back, and then you just drop meteors like a madman on everything. It's pretty sweet. I was in a pub game the other day, and this whirlwind barbarian tells me my skills are making him dizzy. What the hell is that? You'll see I don't hit super hard. I used to hit for like 200k when I had a crit damage neck, but I wasn't able to cast as many meteors. Like I say, the casting meteors at light speed is the fun part of this spec. It's all about having fun, right? I mean, it's a freaking game. Unless you're trying to pay your rent by farming, then you might want a better build. But, you know, I'm not. I'm just looking to screw around. Something sweet, you know? Something showy. Oh, I love illusionists. I'm getting lucky here for this video. That's pretty nice. Arcane beams will still kill you. Oh, snap! That's not good. I gotta life on hit some life back here. What's also really nice is having a barb. It's too bad we don't have any, like, no Warcry, no Monk Order. We got nothing in here to buff me. No buffs. Sad face. Witch Doctor doesn't even seem to use Big Bad Voodoo. Which is crazy. You get Big Bad Voodoo and that attack speed increase for, like, Frenzied Shrine, and it's just nutty, man. Yeah, so many meteors. Also, I know... Oh.
Help me.
Wow, how the hell did I survive that? That was lucky. Anyway, I know pub games tend to be full of bads, but I've seen some other Meteor Sarks, and then I tell you, they can't cast as many meteors. Not even close. Like 5 meteors to one of theirs. Although I have yet to have one player say something like, how the fuck are you casting so many meteors? Nobody said that yet. I'm waiting for it. Something else I've considered, like if you have like just insane defense, or, you know, I guess maybe if you're awesome and a lot better than me, you could use Conduit here. Attacks have a chance to restore 1 arcane power. I'm not really too sure how much you get out of that. You notice it a bit, but I feel like the lifesteal is better most of the time for me, because I really just don't like dying. Dying sucks. Dying is not fun, you know. Since it's all about the fun, I like being hardy as fuck. Again, why I'm not using glass cannon. I don't really care if my DPS is not ideal. I just want to chain cast meteors and not die. That's my goal. That's the goal for this build. Spell like Golem is pretty nice because he'll just stand in the shit. So I'm pretty sure the ticks from the fire will get your arcane power back. Even though they don't appear to crit, you definitely notice if guys are standing in your shit, you get more arcane power back. Guess I should get out of the poison gas, huh? This is why I need the lifesteal, because I'm terrible at it. Sometimes get a little carried away and don't do some of the Hydras. America down. America? I don't know. And I'm debating whether it's better to go one missile, one meteor, one missile, one meteor, or to go like 3 missiles and 4 meteors or something, like basically to fill up and then dump. Because it seems like if you're able to dump everything all at once, you can kind of get a roll going, and you tend to get more arcane power back. Whereas the other one is sort of like, if you go one missile, one meteor, it's kind of like staying in first or second gear when you're driving, and you don't really get the full momentum going. But anyway, there's GOM. We saw some bosses. Show you some mass meteor. Maybe it could have been a little bit better. Sometimes I swear to God, you're like, if you get some guys on a choke point with a tank in front, you just stand there and hold down right click, and the meteors are coming down 1.9 attacks per second. It just looks sweet. Anyway, machine gun meteor. Try it out if you're bored. Catch you later.